Your parents, did they at any point resist your vocation since you're an only child? Did they say, oh, we're not going to have any grandkids if he becomes a priest? Did that ever come into play?
That actually, it didn't. My parents were very supportive all the way through. Thank God they're very supportive all the way through. The ones that were not very supportive at first were my grandparents. My grandparents were like, "Oh no, you're not going to have any. You're not going to have any grandkids for your parents. You're not going to have any great grandkids for us. You're like the last one to have your Rivera name and everything." And I'm like, well, I was like, you got other grandkids, grandma and grandpa, and then I was like, this is what God's calling me to, and I said, I'm gonna be more fruitful in this way than I ever thought possible. Like I'm gonna help so many people in ways that I never thought I could. So eventually, like, they're cool with it now. They actually come to a lot of my family members, since they live in Houston. They come to a lot of my masses. So I'll end up seeing them at some of my daily masses at the university or some of my Sunday masses. So it's, now they're super supportive.
Was there a moment where they all of a sudden became supportive, or was it a gradual thing?
They all of a sudden became more supportive, definitely once I was ordained. So once I was ordained like a deacon, and then during my priesthood ordination, they were super supportive.
All in at that point.
All in that point. They're like, okay, like he did it. He's serious about it. Like this, yeah.
In your discernment process, what was the most difficult part of deciding to become a priest?
I would say
was it the celibacy?
The celibacy, not so much, because I felt like I was never lonely. I was never lonely, especially being in religious life. I have not been lonely. There have been moments where I was like, okay, like it would be nice to have a family with me right now, but I always gotten the chance to be with my brothers, to have the support of my brothers. If I'm having a rough day and I come back and I see one of the priests, one of the scholastics, the seminarians around, and we just kind of sit down and just talk, I'm like, I know I have somebody to support me, and I have their back, they have mine. So I wouldn't say the celibacy wasn't such a huge obstacle. I would say through it all, the biggest thing that was kind of tough was the obedience. People don't really think about the vow of obedience, but really kind of giving up on what you want and what you think is best for you, and kind of being open to God working through other people in your life, especially your religious superiors.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's listening to somebody and saying like, hey, like, I've seen you mess up. I know you're not that great at making some of these decisions, but you know what? I'm going to trust that the Lord is working through you, and I'm going to trust your decision to come over here, even though maybe I see a better possibility going over here and doing this. That's tough.